consciousness at the end of Silver Age. And it is a little rehearsal to introduce body consciousness again. So here is our chance to discuss, dissect this area. Baba uses different words to explain what is going on. In Hindi, Deha Abhiman. Abhiman can be called, one translation can be pride. Vismriti, another word Baba uses, means you have smriti is awareness. Vismriti, being like unconscious. That is one translation for that. So someone is in the hospital and there is injury, head injury. Then there comes a time he is not aware that he exists even. So this is exactly what happens in our case also. So there is this soul, angelic soul, right now. That angelic soul is there, Prince is there, and he can reach a level where he is not conscious that he exists. And that is when ego takes over. Ego becomes the king. So, the image of being conscious again, that is like a nice aspect. But all along, this process of being unconscious, that 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 puts a new factor in the equation. Like say someone is asleep, and then you go and tell him you are asleep. He is not there to listen to you. So someone is asleep, you tell him, you wake up. He is not even there to listen to you. So this the situation Baba can find himself in. So Baba is saying that here is the angelic prince, who is unconscious. So Baba says, be conscious. But one who listens to this is the ego. I'm just giving the overview and we will come to this bigger subject of ego. And so ego says, yes, yes, yes. But ego to doesn't want soul to be conscious. Why? Why ego is not serious about this process, soul being conscious. If soul is conscious, ego will die. Game is like that. It is not possible ego can be also be there and soul be there. So it is a fight of life and death between ego and soul. One of the wisdom from Plato, he uses the expression, don't know that we don't know. So it's not just I don't know, but then comes a time where you don't know that you don't know. We have so settled in this new paradigm of ego, ignorance, that there's no question even. Society has completely settled to this mode. And when Baba comes in, Baba is horrified to see everyone is unconscious. That's why it is Kabristan. And he has to take them out of the grave. It is a bit like these analogies that are used in scriptures. They are here. They are all unconscious, and he has to take them out of this unconscious state. Huge the conviction is necessary because no one even knows that they exist. That is the situation. Baba is seeing them, Baba is loving them, Baba is reviving them and serving them and makes them the kings back. So this is the game that is going on at the confluence age. All along, ego is there to create obstacle because It is ego survival, the war of survival of ego. At an immediate level, any quick impressions? Anyone want to say anything?
Nick,
Yes.
Just sort of attempting to start at the beginning, so to speak, around ego. So, the golden age, the ego is somewhere, and something occurs to take us into the silver age. Is it possible to expand on that, please?
Sure. And no ego in the golden age, silver age, until the end of silver age. In the soul is still the king. But what is happening all along? Soul is involved with this extraordinary glitter of this golden aged world, but it is sufficiently strong to sustain it, but it is not connected to its home. It is not connected to its father. So to some level, there is an impression created. That's why the soul is 16 degrees at the beginning of the golden age. Then after more than 1,000 years, the end of golden age, which means many births in between, it is 14 degrees.
Only
8. At the end of golden age, it is 14 degrees.
8 births.
8 births, yes.
Sorry, Prashant, are you able to describe what happens in the 2 degrees? Well, what actually occurs in that 2 degrees?
There is a process, we can say, getting impressed. Just you are, say the difference between, you never knew Cambridge, let us say. Someone never heard of Cambridge. And you come to Cambridge as a guest, just for one day. You're just a guest in Cambridge for one day, and then you have to go back. There's a difference already. The first moment you arrive, where you have no familiarity, nothing, and you've just been there for one day, and you meet some people, and you saw some place, and there is a difference. Just familiarity. You like some place, you are then in a small way, you are missing some place, you are missing some person. So that is the difference, between the beginning of the golden age and the end of golden age. It may be as little as that, just familiarity. What happens in the Iron Age in one day, it may be something that might have happened for a period of many births.
May I ask a question, Prashant?
Yeah.
Just reflecting on this, this is a momentous battle inside, and it's like 2 planets colliding, good against evil, and you can end up destroying yourself fighting ego, grinding yourself down, depleted of all energy, spiritual, intellectual, and motivation as well. And what comes to mind is the way, it's a huge boxing match, as Baba says, it's a huge boxing match. And what comes to mind is the most successful boxer in history, which is Muhammad Ali. And he didn't box the way other people boxed. He said, I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. And just a reflection, I'd like Prashant's view on this at some stage in the next hour. Is it possible to not fight ego the conventional way, but to somehow bypass the ego And that way, one claims victory by floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. It's just a reflection, because just to push this water uphill is more than challenging. There has to be an unconventional way to take this battle on, because if one takes it on in a conventional sense, from conventional thinking, it seems, from my own experience, the cards are stacked against one. Just a thought.
Yeah, excellent. Yes, very good. Now, I'm going to use an image. And let us understand the scale of this, scale of our situation. Imagine there is an ant hill in your garden, and there are thousands of ants, and they're all busy. So much going on in there, in that ant hill. There's politics and coronavirus also, and there is social distancing, and it's all going on. And within that, if you go and find out the details, there is unlimited. But your world, your family, your society, town, everything goes on. You don't even need to know that that anthill is there. That anthill, you may just be curious to know what is happening, but your world is independent. For the family of souls and the Father, let us use this very broad intellect to grasp this. Family of souls and the Father, this whole physical drama is like an anthill. See it in that image. There is lots going on there, but these alaukic beings, subtle, immortal beings, divine beings, their life is with God, their life is of bliss, life is of perfection, life of love, that is independent of that anthill. They come in contact, okay, you can observe the anthill. Don't get trapped in the anthill. Don't reach the level that that anthill has become your world. Ego brings us to that level. Ego, Ravan is such a phenomenon. They are a product of ignorance. Ego and Ravan, you need an environment of ignorance for this. And so, image, see the scale. These beings, they reach the level where they are lost in that anthill, worrying about it, complaining about it, biting others, thinking they are the ants and being bitten up in a sorrow and creating attachments within it. Life of extreme degradation. We just need to grasp the scale of the fall that happens at the human psyche. Just this swing that happens from one end when they are angels, they are princes, they are from the world of God and perfection. They are gone, and to the level they don't even question there is anything else exist. Their life is the anthill and ants, and they're singing songs of I love you within that anthill, and complaining their politics. It is full time. They are so lost into it, oblivious to anything else. Baba's job is to tell them there is something more. You are not from this world. You are something more. You have to drop the five vices. You have become degraded in your intellect and in your dharma and karma. You are angels. All these words, they are not metaphorical. They are real, but the scale is good for us to understand the scale. It is not becoming slightly virtuous end, or smiley end. That is for a holy, with a badge, create a nice corner within the ant hill. No, you come into the smriti, you get out of this spell, hypnotic spell, and discover that you are that immortal angel out of that angel. And you've got a celestial truth and celestial celebration. We get an idea of what this ego means. By definition, we are using the word ego. It is a good word, as we said, Latin may be very neutral word, but in English we are using it, meaning false ego. And that is the meaning with which we are using it, false identity. And even though Baba uses the broad word, deha, abhiman, body, and we are translating body consciousness, it is the body and the bodily world. It is not just identity with the body, but ego is created based on many things around the body, social things that are more. So Ravan has got 10 heads, and these are all different heads of ego. All these 10 heads are trapped in the anthill. Just say. So all these 10 heads are locked in the anthill, as long as we know this, with different things. For example, a broad word is ego, but we are using, but understand, one head of Ravan is caught in the position, another head is caught with the appearance of the body. So all is in the end. Another head is caught with some objects, senses, pleasures, Ravan's pleasures, some food, cigarettes, alcohol, lust. The different heads are caught into different things. And so all these 10 heads, we have to be free from. 10 heads is metaphorical. There are much more than 10 heads. But enough, that is. Anyone want to say anything at this point?
Om Shanti.
Hi.
Is there any difference between body consciousness and ego, or both are same?
At this stage, we are using it with the same meaning. In this context, we are using it.
Okay.
Body consciousness is a broad word for all this ego.
Okay. Thank you.
A question from here. The words that Baba is using, they sometimes give a different angle for understanding what Baba means. And there was a slogan in a Murli where Baba used the word ahem. I'm not sure if Prashant wants to hear the context, but never heard that word before, so was interested to know what the word ahem means.
It is just another translation for ego.
Okay, thanks.
Om Shanti Prashant bhai. So ego, basically, if it is only related with body, then we can call it as Ravan or the identity. And if it is connected to word outside the body, but the Lokik word, then those are like the other aspects like cigarettes and all those things which you are talking.
Yeah, as long as we know these are 10 heads of Ravan, all these 10 heads are caught with the drama, and one with the body, one with other things around the body.
Good
And all
morning.
these 10 heads can get angry. All these 10 heads can get jealous. Each head can get into this.
I think Ricardo had a question, and then maybe Nick.
Hi, good morning. So Shamba, I'm trying to understand how external or internal arrogance is, or ego, and maybe trying to come back to this golden age situation. And sometimes I hear we speak of merging. So is it that we have some Ravan merge, like hidden, like latent when we are in the golden age, or at the golden age we start from zero and then Ravan appear later as an external influence?
Yeah, that is more accurate. Definition, golden age is zero Ravan. Just like when there is light, shadows don't exist. It is like that. It is a world of full light. Just want to emphasize at this point, and also in connection with what Philip mentioned in the beginning. Philip mentioned how it is not fighting a conventional war. We need to be intelligent in this. Now, the whole department of Ravan and ego needs the environment of ignorance. This is so strategic for us to know. If there is an environment of ignorance, ego flourishes. Just like you need a certain environment and then the weeds come out. In another environment, daffodils come out. So environment of ignorance, and you are fighting battle to fight with the Ravan, but the environment supports it because there is a broad ignorance that is around. You create environment of clarity, then it is like you can't get the cactus if there is a different weather. You can't get weeds grow there. It is a season for daffodils. It is the same here. You create an environment of wisdom, knowledge, clarity, and then the ego as if disappear. This is not a theory, but try and see this. Now, what is the environment? What is this knowledge? And when I see this anthill with a model that this is of value in some form, I am giving it some kind of beauty and some life and attention. Then no, in an absolute way, ego is going to flourish. When with the reason we are using some of these words, today we are using the word anthill. Another time we might use the word monkey club. Baba uses the word Kabristan. Baba uses the word land of death and not worth a penny. All these words Baba is using. There is a reason. Vaishalai, the brothel. So the whole thing don't have reduce the value of it. When you have lowered the value of it and you understand it is there for a very short time, it is going to be destroyed. Ravan shrinks. Try and see, even for 5 minutes, see with that model, not just like a nice concept, everything within it, including Prashant, is part of that anthill, and it is going to disappear in a very short time. It is there. So you use these different images And all that happens, the drama still continues. Whatever Cambridge is there, and Cambridge will continue tomorrow. But that attitude and that way of looking at it, ego shrinks. Maybe temporarily, ego shrinks. But even if temporary knock on ego, that is a huge blessing for the angel. Because when ego shrinks, angel gets chance to breathe. You literally get an experience of what is on the other side, beyond theory. And this is like anyone can try it. You don't need to do the 7 days course. Someone is clever, he can play with this. The ego will not go. I want to remove ego. Ego has to go. Why I have to attend another retreat for removing ego? That is not enough. Just it is ego trying to remove ego. But you change the environment and hold that image. If it is possible for you, hold that image. It is like fun. Like we use the language, this is monkey club. And in different situations, see it as a monkey club. This is a monkey club. These trees are in the monkey club. And Prashant is talking in the monkey club. It is like doing greatest favor on yourself by having this attitude. Because as you are playing with this, you don't have to speak this to anyone, because people won't understand. But you are playing with this in your mind. And all that happens is the ego around this shrinks. Things that were you are a slave to, they disappear. That slavery disappears. Fools, they disappear. Different heads of Ravan begin to shrink. And as Ravan shrinks, as we are saying, it is a literal equation. It is like a guaranteed benefit. You are experiencing the subtle, alaukic, divine dimension beyond the entity. And it becomes not a theory. We start with a theory at some point. How can the experience come on the first day? But then the experience comes. And you are now seeing the difference between ego-based effort and soul. Soul seeing the soul seeing the story, soul seeing God. Awake soul will never feel, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. He will never say this. It is bhakti. Bhagats will say, I'm not worthy of love from God. Awake soul feels he is absolutely worthy to be loved by God. Who else will he love? Feels worthy to be companion of God. This is a big factor. Ego will not never feel worthy. Ego is forever into, how can ego feel? Ego is Ravan. Ravan deep inside will not feel he's worthy. But awake soul will. So it becomes a positive spiral that starts in that direction. I often use this sketch, these images, they might help us. And I'm drawing this standard sketch again. And I might encourage you to draw that sketch. If you're not, keep it in your main room, because this is like such a useful thing for us to get this broad intellect. Just this much. Just drawing a sketch like this. And the reason is we need that subtle intellect and we need the broad intellect. The third option is the stone intellect. Stone intellect, that anthill has become everything for you. Stone intellect works for the ego. And that is what is our starting position is this. We are using stone intellect. Thoughts are all around the story. What happened is, who did what, and who said what, and what might happen tomorrow, and my success in that anthill. This is what is going on day in and day out. We need to see beyond this. It's a different game. And the ordinary intellect is not enough. We have paras intellect. We have to make it stronger. Paras intellect includes subtle intellect, it includes broad intellect, includes unlimited intellect. Recently, Baba has been touching these words. You need unlimited intellect, you need broad intellect. We have to sharpen it. We have intellect, but we still have to make it stronger. Then game is different. As you start playing with it, it's just like anyone who runs, runs and swims. He will definitely be a better swimmer after 1 month. So here you play with it, it's fun all along. Guaranteed you will be better at this game. You will see the subtle and you will see the broader in a different way. And then you can see the anthill really as anthill. Right now I'm saying this and there may be one little reaction in you. Oh, what is it? Do you mean that my hand all my friends, do you think, are you calling them ants? This kind of feeling can come, but still go through that and play with it. And what you will realize now, as you wake up, everyone is an angel, but not in the anthill. You have been completely ignoring the real truth. Just like you are angelic prince behind, everyone else is also angelic prince. We've been ignoring it because we're so caught up into this Ravan's ignorance, Ravan's madness, and Baba uses this word distaste, and sometimes dislike. These strong words Baba uses, nafrat. You should not feel, oh, Ravan's love and Ravan's this. No, we have to have dislike to Ravan's journey, Ravan's mindset. It is time to get out of it. As if there is a bad smell, you want to come out of it. There is nothing to glorify within that Ravan's madness. Anything you might like to add or say? And Belinda is asking, can Belinda join? Is Belinda already with us?
Yes, she's been connected for about maybe 15-20 minutes.
Oh yeah. Hi.
And I know
Just
I mentioned something earlier, but sorry, Prashant, please continue.
yeah, you wanted to add something?
From here, just that in the Murli today regarding understanding weakness, or in this case, ego, if we understand the, Baba said speciality, but in this case, the right smriti, from that mirror, I feel in those experiences, we understand ego better. There's contrast, so that's just easier to see it with that kind of backdrop. Yeah, thank you. But I think Nick had a question.
Sure.
Nick always has a question.
Nice.
Is, without the need for expansion, if not appropriate, but is there a difference between true ego and false ego?
Sure. As we said, Latin word ego is very neutral. It doesn't mean anything negative. It just means I am. And so in that context, pure ego would be soul conscious. When a person is soul conscious, that is true ego and pure ego. and when one is creating the other ego within that anthill, that would be called false ego or impure ego. So that language is right, but to avoid confusion, we don't use the word ego for soul consciousness. Even though it is pure, very rarely we might use that, but use a very distinct word, soul consciousness, for it, and use the word ego more for body conscious department. Any other thoughts? And may I ask Philip, any thoughts from Philip on this subject so far?
Well, my original question was this: we need an unconventional war, just as we need an unconventional war with COVID, because it's an imposter, but we can't see and has caught us unawares. In a similar way, we need an unconventional strategy to fight ego. And I don't think ego would ever, in a month of Sundays, have thought, well, what Philip will do is change the environment, an environment I can't go into, and therefore I've been cornered. And really, that's the thought. Really, it's almost too simple to be true. That actually, what one needs to do is change the environment so that the weeds have no chance of growing in that environment. That is probably the unconventional war. You go to a place where the opponent just cannot flourish because he's expecting to meet you head on and then use every dirty trick. And I think something that comes to mind very briefly is something Prashant said, which has never left me, which is you can't fight street fighters on the street corner. It's their environment. They know how to fight dirty. They will always outclass you if you try and fight their battle on their pitch. And I think the take home for me from this past hour is you don't fight them according to their rules in their environment. You go somewhere else where they're not expecting you to go. And this whole issue in terms of you can become a better swimmer or a better runner in a month's time if you just actually apply yourself with some dedication and consistency and discipline. I think it's probably something that is not a nice to, but it's a must do. If you don't do it, then actually you don't really stand a chance from what you've shared today in fighting an unconventional war. I think those are my thoughts.
At a very practical level, we may have to create a program. It is like, just as Baba says, remember me, they have traffic control reminders. Even to remember Baba, we have to be soul conscious. But, the whole game is ego is in charge. So, it becomes a catch-22. Ego is in charge. So how can ego allow you really to be soul conscious? So we may have to come a little bit back. Let me work on the intellect. Let me work on the environment. And let me work on that front first. And it is a guaranteed success. It is literally can see this, how this can help you become soul conscious, and one step takes you to the next step. So what you are doing, we may have to be radical, like this language anthill. It is very radical, and I can't normally use language like this in even Brahmin gathering. I'm using it over here. Some level of maturity is necessary to understand why we are using these words. That kind of thing. It is not trying to, sort of belittle anyone. It is a bit bitter medicine to Ravan within me, the demons within me. So you are literally really seeing this world as small and worth not a penny. You get a visual image that you don't want to be deceived into it. You are, this invisible traveler has to get out of this as quickly. And that helps him to remain connected to his world of the Father. You may stay with this experience for 10 seconds. In this process, even 1 second in a right direction is of value. Otherwise we got ego-based experiences of many, many hours. But here you are getting 10 seconds of this glimpse. The invisible traveler is passing through this anthill who don't want to get stuck there. Prashant and all is in the anthill. He wants to be out. He has his world beyond. And world beyond is the world of God. Let us just revisit this world beyond. It is a world of God, world of immortality. It's a world of perfection. It's a world of love, true love. The souls are lovely, Father is lovely, all are loving. There is no Ravan, Ravan-free region. That's why supreme region. What a shame. We have no time for this. Ego is like holds us into this anthill day in and day out. And this whole supreme reality is just there, but we have no time for it. So you are here just creating this 10 seconds even, where you are seeing it with this light, if we can say it. You are shining light on the big truth, big important, your world. The soul is waking up. Soul waking up, ego is becoming smaller. Game changes. Every 10 seconds you are doing this, game is changing. As ego gets weaker, the soul will continue to become stronger. Awake soul, he is not going to be impressed with things. His mind is not going to go into the junk and anthill, whatever success and whatever is going on. He has got something else to think of. His celebration is at another level. So our program, say, over the rest of the day, and from now onwards, our resting thoughts, like to check thoughts, are they going in the anthill? They will go in the anthill only because ego wants you to go there. And ego is addict of things for no reason. You don't even need to think of it. You are not planning to take a decision on it. But ego has got just that anthill, nothing else. So you have the option to say, okay, I put a full stop here. Let me see the bigger map. Let me come out of this and see my world and my home and the home of the Father and company of there are many things of celebration to see on the other side. So you are coming on that side. From here, your vision, you're just seeing others Because for you, when you say others, they are invisible brothers, souls. They are associated with the dolls in the monkey drama, but they are invisible souls, and they are invisible princes. They are angels. They are your brothers. You are just creating time to see them. And we are talking here seconds, because your old habit will go back to think of the dolls, but you are creating seconds. That's the way it starts. Your seconds, you see your true family, your father. That's fine. Come back there again. With each time you are doing this, intellect is also becoming stronger, and you are a winner. End result, it has to be you are completely out of the anthill, which means there is no compulsion. You go there when you choose, you are out of it when you choose. It is better. Mind is not hanging around in the anthill. Shall we hear some thoughts from Melinda? It will be nice. I know you joined a bit late. We were started with the anthill. You might not have heard what we mean by anthill. You might have guessed.
Yes, Om Shanti. Anthill is a very familiar sight in South Africa, and so a very good analogy, because if you break open an anthill, there is so much going on inside there. Ants everywhere, all running around their own business. Each one has their own agenda in the anthill. Some are looking for food, some are army, building many things. But to the observer, it's just looks like chaos. And we want to get to this point where we can see the whole of this story like that. When one is asleep in the story, then all these obsessions and everything is important, and so much focus, and maybe positive thinking courses going on in the anthill, and but all happening within the anthill. So one thing that was so encouraging is that when we get it right, victory is guaranteed, success is guaranteed. And we are not just, searching in the dark for some solution. We have that solution. And now it's a question of application. Just for that moment, for that second, to apply fully, without any mixture from ego. And see the wonder. And then all the anxieties of the anthill start to fade away. I wonder if this is what Baba means by your sins are absolved. Because when you get the perspective of truth, then those anxieties and the feelings of that come with Ravan's heads, they start to diminish in power. So they may still come, but not with the same force as before. Thank you.
Thank you. We use another image. It's sometimes nice for us to hold some of these as a scaffolding to build on it. And the image is an insect finding a patch of mud on the back of a pig, and very impressed with the land he has found. And eagle tells him, do you want to become an eagle? Do you want to come with me, sky? I'll show you the mountains, valleys, animals, plants, trees, sun, come with me. He says, no, I found land. I don't want to miss this chance. But come another time. Come and busy in the land and building the fence and then fixing the land. So it gives us an idea of these options. There is an eagle and there is an ant. Ant has got idea of progress and success, and just like these ant hills, they're busy, full-time busy. They got full agenda. And there is no comparison between the life of the eagle, perspective of the eagle, and the insect. This is the option we have. We are not a caterpillar, we are a butterfly. Or we have the option. Caterpillar is not a destination, they're the butterfly. And we have to start this process in ourselves. In one gathering recently, was it Oxford? Yesterday, I think, in Oxford. One lady, she said, isn't this you are thinking of yourself? What about others? If we just think of ourselves and let other people stay there, isn't it better for us to be with other people where they are at and all? This is what we have done all these centuries. And now is the time you fly and help others fly. And this is such a thing. Only by you flying, you make it possible for others to fly. One bird flies, second bird flies, and then suddenly everyone realizes that they got wings and they can fly. If everyone stays there for whatever reason, out of love for others, then they all stay in the anthill. Excellent. Some final thoughts from Cambridge?
To be more specific?
Yeah. Hear from you.
It feels like the environment, its clarity, image of a guest that can't own anything here, and that is the truth. And in that consciousness, one is here for the task only. So it's the dying alive. And then in meditation, to create this really clear aim to remain in the space of truth, the clean soul that can own nothing in this story or anthill, and in the enjoyment of that. And if the mind goes to the anthill with interest in that 1 minute, 2 minutes, it's like Baba says, if you take something back, it's stealing, like it's quite strong, and I feel that's useful. If the soul has died alive and everything belongs to God, if you claim it back, it's stealing. So something which really stands out then, that it's coming from ego that has an obsession with the anthill. And even just if it's just during the meditation, to be really strict for those few minutes, it creates a really clear contrast of that space, which is so like holy, clear mirror. Mind and senses are out of Ravan's kingdom completely for that period. And then there's more chance to see the subtlety of how clever Maya is coming in to make excuses to think about, say, service or story-related things. It has its place, but not during the time you set your intention. So I found that very helpful, to give quality time to go into the depth and be clear of your intention during that time. Shanti?
May I ask Nick, would you like to, any final comment from Nick?
I just posted on the chat, actually, for Nick, an extension of this conversation leads into the radical environment and Shrimat. And one time it would be good to learn more about Shrimat and yeah, the living environment.
And we'll hear from Kanti. Kanti with us. Hello, Kanti Bay.
Hello.
Hi.
I was looking at the same issue as an in and out drive. Through the in drive, how did I become egoistic? How did I manage to get to that stage? And it was all about I and mine, what belongs to me. And that grew, and the comparison and carried on. When I'm looking at the other way, the option of correction, and I'm going back out of the drive, I've got to keep God with me. The first one, I was edging God out, ego. And now I've got to bring God back in with me. Because when I was egoistic, I listened to everyone else and I accumulated, I collected. If I use that as a method, then it becomes a battle, like everyone's describing. But the other method is to do it very gently, is by listening to God, and what he's telling me are points of my self-respect, sweet, loving words he keeps repeating. And I'm reprogramming myself by listening to him. What happens is that there was a very nice workshop where this chappie was saying, you have a partner and you ask your partner to clench his fist, and you have to use whatever option you can to try and open that fist. And everybody was pushing and shoving and, you know, really giving pain to each other. And the answer was, have you tried asking him? Have you tried saying, please open your face? That's one option as well. In the same way, we work so hard at battling to get rid of ego. But when Baba tells us, and we agree, I am not ego, ego is not me. So I can either drop it in one go as a package deal, and then work from that. If egoistic thoughts and actions do come in, I can gently push them out with loving effort. But if on the other hand, I don't accept it and I don't agree, I'm going to battle, then I carry on that sanskar of I have not cracked it yet. I've yet got to work, I've got to make effort. I go out on the road and I am run over. I carry that sanskar with me of I haven't made it yet, which is not a very good way to go. So the better way, the gentler way is to accept, yes, ego is not me, that's what I am not. And so I keep rejecting it, I keep working on it. Because Maya is very clever. Every time I have a weak thought, Maya comes and makes it stronger. Look, you have ego. Other people see ego because they've got ego. But once I've dropped the ego, I'm not going to let it come into me. That's not mine. It'll come again, but not now. I say goodbye to ego.
And final word from Philip.
It's been a very rich discussion, and I'm taken aback by the depth of discussion that's been managed through rich sharings in the last 63 minutes. It's a very powerful format that has evolved in the last 2 Sundays. So thank you to everybody for the richness and the variety of their perspectives, and to you, Prashant. Thank you very, very much.
So let us create a few moments. You know, one paradox within this is lots of discussions. All this is happening in the anthill. Even Baba has to come in this anthill to tell us that you are from beyond the anthill. You know, so that is the paradox we have to manage. So ideas are spoken, you know, but it is there as if all ants speaking, you know, these ideas. And that's nice. The real way to manage it is to be in this with ideas and at the same time be beyond sound. Then it is a success. So 1 minute beyond sound. Meet again very soon. Maybe we might, more likely we are busy. Sanjeevani is starting from this Monday. It continues next Sunday. So more likely we won't have a gathering like this next Sunday, but we'll arrange something hopefully the week after.
I think if others want to join on webcast, you can be watching the Sanjeevani if you would like. We'll put more details on the Skype group.